So if you could start by telling us your name and how old you are.
My name is Owen. I'm 28, 29, born in Manchester.
A little bit about life growing up.
Really complicated. My parents had their problems. I was brought up in the care system. I was in and out of lots of different placements, and I was taken by some people. The relationship broke down, so I was sleeping on the streets from very young. Due to your social services picking me up, they brought the kids in for a few weeks to loophole the legislation, how many weeks it takes if we get a full care order and leaving care being outdoors. The rest of it, they put me in a hostel after a couple of weeks because I was 15, so I was classed as semi-independent, and I could claim benefits, so they put me in a hostel. Cut my schooling, but I'd already been taken out of school by that point, so in the hostels since I was 15. Before that, I was sleeping on the street.
From what age were you sleeping on the street?
I used to run away from a very, very young age. 12, 13. I was sleeping on our school fields. Then I got appointed to kids home for a couple of weeks. Then a hostel. Then I ended up back on the streets.
Would you say you were running away because life on the streets was better than life at home? So how did you find being in hostels?
I couldn't take care of myself. I was highly immature. I was begging social services to help me. I was begging other people. As crazy as it sounds, to put anyone in a kid's home, from anyone in a hostel at that age, is wrong. To pound them off and say, right, you can look after yourself and be an adult and claim benefits.
So you're still a kid at 15.
Most people stay at home until a certain age, so they've been in college or whatever else.
Yeah.
It might be funny to do that to anybody, is to take away all chances.
Yeah.
So.
And you said that they cut your school in as well.
Yeah, I was taken out of school.
So did you leave school with any qualification? No. Because you sound very well spoken, very educated. Have you done all that yourself?
Very complicated.
So you've been. What age did you leave the hostels?
I got kicked out very soon after. I was in and out of several hostels from there.
And you've been sleeping on the street?
I got locked up for about a year or so. I got let out. I was a little bit more mature. But I was only on remand. Some people tried to help me, to educate me. When I came out, I didn't want to. Because I had pretty much everything routine and everything signed. Do you know what I mean? I was being the part of my life to which should have happened when I was younger was taking place in there. So I didn't want to leave. I was being supported. When I got out, I still couldn't take care of myself. Got kicked out of the next hostel placement. I was on off the street several times, tried moving around the UK, tried to sort my life out in several ways. Really struggled. The council had me under a SARS report with the police, and I would be a statistic, drugs and alcohol living on the street by 25. I've lived that by several years. But I've also had petitions set up against the council with 600 to 700 complaint letters written reducing the co-op placements, along with forcing them to set up a friendship with a hotel to accommodate more people, to which they then passed the legislation preventing people like myself from booking into accommodations, only key workers. And at one point I got myself barred from the town hall for complaining about some things. People think that the people in the streets are bad people. There's an NFC scanner on Parker Street which scans people's bank cards under the mayor's charity. It was the big change fund until certain things happened. People were found to be supposedly dipping the pot. The mayor's charity sign has an NFC scanner, scans anyone's bank card for £3 a go. It's legal because it's under charity. If I ask you for help in the street, it's illegal under the Vagrancy Act and begging. I could be prosecuted. I'm not being funny, but I kind of find someone scanning your bank card without permission malicious. Not asking for help and you have a full right to refuse. I don't know. But yeah, if you look at the way people are in society, they treat people on the street like rubbish, abuse them, and they then pass this belief system onto the next person when the person's abiding by moral compass, asking for help. Charities, there are many major charities. One charity has 40 plus workers, also runs 4 centres. I'm not allowed to say the charity's name, but that'd be mustard tree. 40 plus workers, £10.50 an hour. So just work 6 hours a day, full time per week. 40 plus workers, 1 centre. How many all in all? Then across the next charities and all the other centres. Then outreach, the people that go around with trolleys paid. Certainly a percentage of people who work with homeless volunteers, but a large sector are paid. And the homeless sector is one of the biggest paid things. If they was to accommodate all the homeless people, they literally would lose a lot of jobs. But people aren't told all this. They're not told that the allocated funding from the government is between 1.2 to 5.6 million pound. Do you know what I mean? Depending on what charity it is. It's like they're passing the same people around the system to keep it going. And the people looked at it in a bad way after time because they're still in that. But they're being put through a system of dependency and profiteering. So they go somewhere, they're given a meal and whatever else, and they're not helped to budget. They're not given advocacy and taught to take care of themselves. You know what I mean? It's not progression and to integrate society and work with day-to-day people, getting a job. They're trapped into thinking that they can be dependent on these services. They can rely on them and just go there every time to sign in, not realising when they sign a piece of paper, the support funding goes up. But people think anyway, if you don't abide by certain things, such as attending certain charities, and you're on the street, and you're harassed by, sadly to say, the GMP for vagrancy, begging, and even gathering arms for asking people for stuff, mainly because they enforce the council and the police station in Manchester Centre. It's the same building. The police also work on an outreach programme supporting charities like Mustard Tree and places like that. So it's a little bit, so when they want to look good, they'll come out and push Thomas around. Yeah. If the council don't get their way and people avoid going to certain places and trying to get themselves out of the situation themselves, they're blocked. Such as legislation preventing people from accommodating themselves in hotels or key workers. If they don't go to a charity and they ask for Fifth Industry, they're targeted for vagrancy and begging. Literally, it's an outside situation.
What more do you think people could do to help?
Look at everything. There's a better way of doing things. Change it.
Change the whole system.
Have a allocation service in the city centre. Open up centres. Allocate people to the closest centres. And the centres then sell programmes to teach people how to budget, take care of themselves, maintain a property and a healthy living lifestyle, and do you know what I mean, to support them through a progressive path, not come back for a meal, here's breakfast, here's a dinner, here's free, because
it's not achieving.
No.
Where would you like to see yourself in the future?
knows?
Like, where would you like your life to be, ideally?
God knows. Not like this.
No.
No, I'm not a perfect person. I buy more compass. I have bad days, but I don't rob, don't steal, I don't do some things. I have escaped some problems and dependency issues, but I don't believe that people should sell their moral compasses to find it socially acceptable to abuse people who live in a certain way.
Because it could have happened to anyone.
For long is cruel.
Because it could literally happen to anyone. Like, no matter what walk of life you're from, anyone could end up homeless.
Within the system, there's a small social grouping which is getting bigger, which repetitively target people in that situation day to day. So some people think they're ill, going crazy, or feel that rubbish, they just want to get pissed, take drugs, do whatever. They don't feel trusting in people. And in fact, there's certain things are thrown at them in the street, and that grouping gets bigger to the next groups. How do you know who you can talk to? It's going to tag you with that.
Yeah. Have you got any advice for people watching this?
I hate to say, if you had a personal family issue and someone left your house in winter several years ago, there was a young boy who on Cross Street, Deansgate, froze to death and his body was left on the pavement for 3 days. He's 18 years old, just left his family home. Would you want to know your family member? He was classed intentionally homeless by our council. People die every single year before they're accommodated, and no one thinks twice about it. 9 times of these people are not bad people.
Yeah.
And people are profiting from this and from holding these people on the streets. There's how many thousands of hotels? So it's not acceptable for these services to be collecting millions of pounds in wages and say there's no accommodations available or not enough funding.
No.
Will ever make anyone intentionally homeless? If someone's got a dependency problem, a support issue, you just don't matter what it is in mental health. I'm sorry, there should be a better targeted approach to changing that for the better, rather than punishing the person and throwing them on the street. I don't know.
No, that's great. Thank you so much for talking to us. Anything else that you'd like to talk to us about or add?
Yeah, we would like to be social stories that routine cycle. Once you get used to something, your routine change is terrifying.
Would you say that you're used to
Trust
this?
people is a hard thing, and sometimes you can't lie to people. Telling everyone the truth doesn't always benefit you. Some people just don't understand and don't have the time to. Other people use it against you. I hate to say, but I've been out and doing what I've got to do to get by so long now. Going indoors to being an old person is scary. If someone else is changing, I had the better choice. I choose the better choice. But it depends on the right support. Otherwise, I'm set to fail, things come tumbling down.
Yeah.
Not just, here's a brief. Everything changed like a click of the fingers.
Yeah.
I hate saying when people first end up outside, it takes a long time to adapt, transition, adjust, and learn things. It takes a long time to do the opposite as well. And people don't think like that, they don't think that...
No. But you need that help and support to adjust to the change.
They need to create some sort of transition programs.
Yeah, because it's a big transition to go through.
Well,
Is there anything else you'd like to add? Or?
No.
That's great, thank you so much. Thank you very much for watching Owen's story. We're now going to talk a little bit about it. Please don't forget to subscribe if you have enjoyed. Thank you. So Owen says himself he had a complicated upbringing, and although he doesn't go into much detail, I think it's safe to assume it was far from sort of the stability that a child requires growing up.
Yeah.
Because like we all know, children need like the stability and routine. So he was in and out of foster care from a young age, and I think often children in foster care that have gone through multiple losses, sort of like abuse or neglect or even losing your family, because no matter what your relationship is with your family, even if it's a bad relationship, you're still losing your family, and you're allowed to feel that loss and grieve that loss even if it wasn't a healthy relationship.
I think if it was an unhealthy relationship.
But it's still losing your mum and your dad, isn't it? Or your brothers and sisters.
Yeah, but then you should be happy about it. You should not be.
I know, but I think it's still difficult, isn't it? Like, they're still your parents at the end of the day, no matter how bad they were, that's all you've known.
So if your mum and dad be so horrible to you...
It's still tough, like, you still feel guilty.
If you cut them off, you feel guilty?
Yeah. But I think then these experiences, like the loss and like abuse or neglect, can then create additional problems, such as mental illness or substance abuse. And I think especially teenagers and young adults, like Owen was, they need that positive, supportive relationship of an adult to guide them.
Well, that's why he's in a social service. That's
but he was in and out of care homes, he was running around. Yeah, but you don't always have that in care, do you? I know in an ideal world you would have a foster worker that was...
Yeah, you do have an officer. That's...
But it's not the same, is it, as having like a parent? I'm just saying that, like, and I'm not saying there is not good social workers out there, because I think a lot of them probably do an amazing job.
Yeah.
But I think it is very difficult for every child in the care system to have that.
But then again, how many kids in care?
Exactly,
you can't.
That's what I'm saying, it's difficult no matter how good a job they do, the amount of children in care. I think, like, when Owen then left, he left with very little support. He was put into that hostel at 15, stopped school. You were a kid at 15 still.
Yeah.
And he was being expected to look after himself and work everything out himself. They then have an increased risk of an unstable housing situation when they're older, or homelessness. So it's not like, because obviously it's not setting someone up to fail because you've not failed, but it's not helping the situation. Like if you look at him being in foster care, he was already more at risk of mental health issues and substance abuse, and now he's more at risk as well as of homelessness or unstable housing. Like it's just a lot of set of circumstances that don't help. Especially
at that age, right? You're a teenage. You can't. You do anything that you want. You come back home anytime you want. You live in a hostel. You don't have that parent that's watching you 24/7. You don't have that. You got freedom.
And that's the age where it's not a good age to have that freedom.
No, it's not a good age. 15 years old, you can do anything you want.
I can see how it would be very easy to make bad decisions.
But they put me in care, I was loving it.
Oh God, I bet you were.
I was loving it. Because seriously, I was loving it. Freedom. You know, it was I seen it as freedom. Loving it. Going back home anytime.
I think at that age you don't think through the consequences, do you?
There's no consequences. What consequences?
Well, there is in later life.
In later life, yeah. But at that moment,
15, you don't care, do you? No. And then another bit I want to talk about with Owen, and a bit that I was shocked about, and maybe I'm in the minority and naive about the situation, but I had no idea that rough sleeping and begging were illegal.
Well, I knew about begging, it was illegal.
But sleeping in a public place?
Is that illegal?
It's illegal. And it's been illegal since 1824 or 74, depending on what I say. Yeah. It's crazy.
So can you get arrested from sleeping?
So you can get arrested. So anyone found sleeping in a public place or begging for money can be arrested, although under that specific act that makes it illegal, it does not carry jail time. So you can get arrested for it, but no jail time. Though people are then facing jail time, the police, of course, they find a way to work around it, don't they? You can go to prison for begging under the antisocial behaviour. They class it under that then.
Antisocial. It's like, I don't see how's that a crime? What, bothering people?
Well, you're not bothering people, are
Well,
you? Like,
you are bothering people. If you're going around, can I have some change? Can I have some change?
I know, but they're not holding a knife to your throat. They
Yeah.
give me your money.
But the way they're seeing it, you're bothering people.
I just think.
I don't agree with it, but the way
No.
other people seeing it, you're bothering people.
I just think it would take such a cold-hearted person to ring the police and
I don't
report that.
think people ring the police.
I hope not. I think it's just.
I think if you got a shop, someone's begging us out your shop, so the customer don't come in because they don't want to feel
They
uncomfortable.
don't want to walk past it.
They don't want to walk past it, so that's what causes an issue. Then the shopkeeper will call the police. You know what I mean? But other than that,
Like, I just couldn't believe it was actually illegal, and especially the rough sleeping.
the rough sleeping, I didn't know about.
Like,
the rough
these people
sleeping.
already have nowhere to go, and then to make it illegal to sleep outside.
Well, how can you be? I don't understand it.
I don't get it. It seems a really outdated law. Well, and it will be from the 18.
But you can't go to jail for it.
Not under that act, no. There's no jail time. You get arrested for it.
But who wanna stay in the police station?
Might be better, well, in the freezing cold.
Well, you'd be better. If I was homeless, I would make sure I get arrested every day. No, seriously, every
I
night.
assumed if you don't get jail time, does that mean it carries a fine, or? I guess it could do, but then the chance of paying, and how do you track down someone that's got no?
Yeah.
But yeah, in 2018, 1,320 adults were prosecuted.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, isn't it?
That's a lot.
And it just, to me, like, I get we have laws for a reason and stuff, but not all. That doesn't mean all laws make sense. And to be prosecuting these people instead of helping them, like, they're not out there through choice.
No. And there's another thing that Owen was talking about, charity. So it's okay for a charity to demand donation, ask for donation. Is that begging, right?
Well, that's it. You see, like, if you're walking through, like, Manchester,
Yeah.
I would rather see a homeless person than them people with the damn clipboards. They're the people I avoid, like the plague. Seriously, they're the people that make me feel uncomfortable. Or when they put, like, the breakdown cover people or something, like, right outside a supermarket, so you can't walk through the door without being harassed about
You
who
can always say no.
But that should be illegal. That's someone that should be illegal. That's antisocial behaviour, not begging. But see, I can't be the only one that tries to go like a mile out of their way to avoid the people with the clipboard.
You know why you do that?
Because I'm too shy.
No, you're not too shy because you lied to them. Because you lied to them. Like, yeah, as soon as I finish my shopping, I'll sign the deal with you. So it's waiting for you.
I don't know how to say no to people.
Maybe if you're
But
straight to
they're
the
the
point.
people that make me feel uncomfortable, not people begging. Like Owen said, and I know, like, obviously I knew that, but you never really put much thought into it. Like, the big ones, they do have officers and staff that they pay, and, like, you
Well,
don't know.
they pay them with money that people give for
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You
that
don't
should
know.
not be okay. Personally, I disagree with
And
that.
I know they get grants from the government and stuff like that,
Mm.
but it's almost, I want to say, it's almost like a business
It is a business.
than a charity.
Of course it's a business. No, it is a business.
Mm,
Because you got employees, you have to pay your
you have
employees.
to pay them.
You have to pay, what is that? It's a company, right?
And that's fair enough, like, then people need to make a living.
They need to make a living. But
But
just
I
don't
would
make,
rather my money went directly to helping the
don't make your
homeless
living with
than-
the donation that we're giving for homeless people.
It's difficult, isn't it?
It's difficult, but at the same time, they should not get arrested for it.
And clearly, like, and I know some of these charities do a very good job.
Very good job, yeah.
But
It's
they're not
business at the end of the
solving-
day.
they're not achieving anything.
No.
They are helping people.
Mm.
But I think, like, with a lot of the stuff that we talk about, no one's getting to, like, the root the root of the cause.
Yeah. But I think people just want to deal with the situation right there in front of them. That's what I think. People prefer to deal with the situation right there in front of them, but they don't want to go back a couple of years ago and think of what caused it to do that.
Like, we need to be doing more to help people before they get in that situation.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, something everyone can do, like, on a day-to-day basis,
But
is
what
just
can
try and be more kind to people.
What can we do to help people though? People like that, not just us, other people, like in general.
I don't know, because I guess, like with a lot of the addicts we speak to, you need to get to them before it becomes a problem, because then it's a lot more.
Well, then they won't be addicts.
It's a lot more expensive to solve it when they're an addict than if you solved it before.
Yeah, but how would you know this person gonna be an addict? That's the problem.
What I'm saying, yeah.
How would you know this person gonna be an addict? Sometimes the person don't even know is gonna be an addict.
Like with Owen, I don't know what you can do to help him now. Like, sure, you could provide that
Rehab.
Yeah, and you could provide that roof over his head. But then you also need to educate him, because he said himself, like, he's been homeless since he was 12.
I think she's 12. That's too.
Like, he's been homeless for like 14 years, and then it's moving
very
into
smart.
a house is a big adjustment.
Mm.
He's very smart, but then that can almost work against him.
Don't just dump someone in a hostel. That's what we were saying. You can't just. Okay, fair enough. He's a homeless. They've got drug addiction. They've got a problem. But don't think just put him in a hostel that will not solve everything.
Yeah.
Of course, he won't solve everything. There's a package that come with it. You know, how to maintain money. Yeah.
How to budget.
How to budget. How to pay the bills.
I feel like they should do this in school for everyone.
But they don't.
I know, but I feel
They
like
don't.
they should.
They should.
Because there's many adults, like myself included, who do not know how to budget. I got paid on Thursday and I've got like £20 to my name. I don't know how to budget. I don't. I very much have the attitude of, it'll be alright, no one will let me starve, but I shouldn't have that attitude. I shouldn't have that attitude. Because one day my mum and my dad are going to let me starve just to teach me a lesson. But yeah, budgeting, how to manage money, how to, like, everyday situations, how to manage.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't now just put him in a house.
No, you can't.
And hope for the best.
No, you
Because
can't.
it wouldn't work.
It won't work.
And he knows that. He said that himself.
But that's the problem that these people, the government doing. They think by taking homeless people, the people that got problem, off the street and put them to all these hostel hotel, that's helping the problem.
I feel like they just think, well, they've got a roof over their head. We've solved it. Like.
But how many
To
of
them
these
it's
people
just
that get
statistics,
hostel?
so-
How many of these people that get hostel they still go back on the street? Because if you're not going to teach them how to manage, how to pay the bills, and how do you expect them to do it?
And I imagine, like, I must admit I don't know much about them, but I imagine that a hostel is a lot of people, isn't it?
There are a lot of people, yeah. At least probably up to 20
You're
people.
putting a lot of people together that have never met. You don't know how they're going to get on. Like, I can imagine that to someone
it's
like
very
Owen
hard.
would not feel like a safe situation.
Yeah, it's very.
To either. But I think as far as the government are concerned, all they're worried about in it is lowering statistics, making themselves look better.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't care about the actual.
How come it's not?
No.
They don't care.
I don't think enough people care. I think it's very easy to go home to your own home each night and just forget.
Oh yeah.
Just forget about it.
What would you
And we're
bring?
all guilty of doing
Would you
that.
bring a homeless person in your house? Be honest.
Honestly,
Yeah.
no, because I've got a child.
I
If I didn't have a child, I still don't know if I would.
But you wouldn't. Stop using that excuse because you got a child.
Would you?
I've done it before. You know it.
That was different. He was lovely.
Like especially if you get a homeless person in your house.
Mhm.
You need to know that there's a risk that things will get missing. There's a risk. There's like 5%
Not even
risk.
that. To me, like, that's the least thing I'd be worried about. I'd be worried about my house getting destroyed, or because
Destroyed by what?
I don't know, like on fire or
Why would you set your house on fire?
accidentally. I don't know. I'm just saying, like.
Do you know they're just people that they follow rules and regulation? If you
I
tell them
know.
like you can't smoke in the living room, they won't smoke in the living room.
I know they're people.
Why would your house go on fire?
I worry about leaving you in my house for that very reason.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely burn your house.
Exactly. No, I don't know.
Yeah. So it's easy for us to say like the government is not doing as much as what they should.
But then we as
What about
normal
us?
people aren't. Yeah.
You know, before we criticize someone, we need to start ourselves. We need to look in the mirror. What are we doing in general?